Turkish Airlines, 7 days, Bedfiktor, Tadim, Denizbank, and Siesta, official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
We're in Bamberg, northern Bavaria, a beautiful, historic city on the banks of the river Regnitz that boasts ancient architecture dating back to the 10th century. And at the Brose Arena tonight, Brose Bamberg play host to CSKA Moscow. Nico Zizis continues to stuff the stat sheet for Bamberg, a perfect 29 from 29 at the free throw line. He's also 6th in the assist rankings, making the former EuroLeague champion the linchpin of his side. 9 of his 52 assists this season came from Bamberg's round 7 clash against Crvena Zvezda. His court vision and creativity allowing him to find teammates all over the court. Zizis will come face-to-face with several of his old colleagues tonight. Russian forwards Viktor Kriapa, Andrei Vorontsevich and Nikita Kabanov, who all played alongside Zizis during his time at CSKA Moscow. And together, they won the 2008 EuroLeague trophy. Viktor Kabanov hit a high against Bamberg last season, notching the first double-double of his career, 12 points and 10 rebounds. And the versatile forward is showing that kind of form again this season, shooting 48% from two-point territory and chipping in with a team-leading 5 rebounds per night. So we're at the Brose Arena, where the home side will try to halt a 4-game losing streak, where tonight they host the champions and EuroLeague leaders, CSKA Moscow. And there is the venue for tonight's game, Brose Arena. Leading scorer for the home team, Andre Miller. Zizis looking to continue his outstanding form, the man organizing the strategy on the sidelines, Andrea Trinchieri. Here's the man second in the league in rebounding, Nicolo Melli. And he and his teammates, they've been in competitive games. On that 4-game losing streak though, and their head-to-head record against this team, the reigning champion CSKA Moscow, doesn't make for good reading from the home team's perspective. 1-11 overall. And how has that man stepped up in the absence of Nando De Colo? Milos Teodosic, simply outstanding in recent games. League leader in assists, so high in the rankings in scoring as well. And there is the one team week that will be celebrating and commemorating during this round 10 of the EuroLeague. The scenes here in the arena. One team week is where EuroLeague Basketball celebrates the great social work the clubs are doing by associating one team. The social program of EuroLeague Basketball. And it's being commemorated in this round 10 matchup between Brose Bamberg and CSKA Moscow by the players, rather than having their names on the back of their jerseys, will be the branded logo of one team. There's the table. That makes good reading from CSKA Moscow's point of view, but Brose Bamberg propping up the rest of the EuroLeague. So it's top v bottom. But Brose Bamberg, 4 of their 7 defeats this season, with a record of 2-7 so far. 4 of those 7 losses in their 9 games so far have been by a single shot. So that tells you they're always competitive. And this man, Daniel Theis, is going to have to come up big tonight. 15 points in round 9 coming in against Zalgiris. He's among the league leaders in shot blocking as well, averaging 1 block per game, Daniel Theis. Forward will look to be improving those numbers as he has been all season. Just under 9 points per game, just under 5 rebounds, and there's that crucial block on the interior. And it's not, when you're a shot blocker, it's not just the blocks that you register, but the fear that you can place into the minds of players attempting to get close to the bucket. Victor Creapa knows all about that. Long-time, fearsome shot blocker, really versatile forward. Two-time EuroLeague champion, of course, the 2010 best defender. Comes into this game with 218 steals for his career. You see there, he's just shy of 1 steal per game. He's currently 9th all-time on the EuroLeague list. And if he pockets a couple of steals tonight, then he'll go equal with Jamon Gordon, who resides in 9th place. Nico Zizis, perfect from the free throw line, the man who is 6th in the assist rankings coming into this round 10 matchup. 29 from 29. They're the slightly better free throw shooting team are Brose Bamberg, and not surprising when you've got players like that. I say they're slightly better, both on 82% for teams. And alongside Nico Zizis, Strelnik's also a prolific free throw shooter as well, 20 for 20 this season. And Milos Teodosic, just 4 points shy of moving to 2,500 points in his EuroLeague career. Terrific accomplishment, given the way he's been scoring this season. Well, that could well happen in the first few possessions for Milos Teodosic. 6th all-time in scoring. 3 in the three-point rankings. Looking to become the 6th man to move to 2,500 points. So there's a lineup then for the home team. Again, they've been competitive throughout, but I suspect that Daniel Theis and Nicolo Melli are going to have to come to play on the inside. Really work the boards, but that's where they'll be contending against this man. James Augustine in the shot there. High percentage from 2-point territory. Peter Kabanov, the team's leading rebounder. 4.7 per game, shares that top billing with Nando Nicolo, but he continues to recover from a thigh injury. So you see he's not even listed there, Nando Nicolo. The team's leading scorer at 21 points per game, but he's continuing to recover from that thigh injury. And so it's Teodosic, just over 17 points per game, who is the leading player among those active for CSKA Moscow. Jeff Ayres has been released by CSKA Moscow, so he's no longer part of the team. So continuing to make up for the absence of their team leading scorer. One of the other players have stepped up to the mark. Here are the introductions then for the visitors as they make their way out onto court. So now the spotlight show and the public address announcer all get a little bit more dynamic and active as we prepare to welcome the home team out onto the court here at Brose Arena. So let's just rewind a little bit and head into the locker room pre-game.
Guys, we want to have a game where we go all in. And as I told you yesterday, all in means full speed in running fast break and playing off ball. Release, cut, backdoor, full speed. Full energy in diving on the floor for the loose ball and chasing rebounds. Third thing, we want to be physical, so get into opponent's space. It's a move that we have to make first.
Physicality, activity, getting into the personal space of CSKA Moscow. Those are the tenets that are being highlighted. Let's head into the visitors' locker room then and see what Coach Dimitri Teodosic had to say pre-game.
We talk a lot about the X and O's, but I'll make a short review of what we've said. Definitely we have to do with a team that doesn't like to run, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to try to force turnovers. We got to shoot the ball, especially with the lineup we have, Jack, Corey, and Vitaly, or Nikita, we will see their lineup. On the perimeter, we can pressure that ball, and anytime we have an opportunity, dead ball, free throws, or sideline out of bounds, we got to be over there and try to force turnovers. As I said, this team was built and is built on the aggressivity that we can have on their ball handlers. So we got to show physicality over there and close the door for them. This never will be only the job of the bigs, though. Don't underestimate it. This is a combination of the guards. How much you're going to release them, how much you're going to be dedicated and focus on that going over the screen, and then you're going to release them using hands.
So with both coaches emphasizing physicality, this could well be a bruising encounter here tonight. Finchieri, Milos Teodosic just exchanging some pleasantries pre-game. This was a few moments ago. You see the players still in their warm-ups. Fans hadn't attended through the entrance at this point. So the officials for tonight's game from Spain, Portugal and Turkey. Well, Perez is the referee, ably assisted by Mr. Rocha from Portugal and Mr. Akulok from Turkey. So the starting five for the home team: Koza, Zizis, Darius Miller, the leading scorer, Nicolo Melli, second leading rebounder in the league, and anchoring the center, Radosevic.
The social program of EuroLeague Basketball, One Team uses the power of basketball for the integration of...
Starting five for the visitors, the reigning EuroLeague champions, Fridzone, Jackson, who started every game so far this season, the only CSKA Moscow player to do so, Voroncevic, making a part of the starting five. And here's the pre-game ceremony. Participants of social entities, 10 social entities, standing in front of the players during the starting five announcements in order to give recognition to the One Team program, recognizing the work and support that Turkish Airlines EuroLeague give to these Special Olympics. And here you see confirmation. Nice to see this corporate social responsibility program of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague receiving such enthusiastic applause from the knowledgeable spectators here. But the names replaced by the logo One Team. You know, they're competing for the trophy when it comes to community. All the EuroLeague players across the entire continent are all one team coming together to support communities no matter what colors they wear on their uniforms. Turkish Airlines EuroLeague really using basketball to achieve social impact in the communities, connecting across the continent, bringing activities together in an integrated and impactful way. You see the decals on the floor, the One Team branding on the back of the shirts, replacing the names for this round 10 encounter. The teams all supporting the Special Olympics, the one-team activities. Now that pre-game pomp and pageantry almost out of the way, and we're about to get down to business in this round 10 encounter. Brose Bamberg, the home team, wearing black, looking to arrest a 4-game losing skid. Currently 1-11 in their previous meetings against CSKA Moscow, but did win the most recent meeting as R10 Jackson, front rim. Kyle Hines could well be whistled for going over the back there. We'll see who the foul is called on. It's called on Darius Miller. So he tried to prevent R10 Jackson from getting crashing the boards. So Frid zone, baseline jump shot, rattles in and out, big rebound hauled in by Darius Miller, the team's leading scorers, pulling in 3 rebounds per game, as well as his 14 points. There's Zizis, his 263rd appearance tonight, 4th all-time on the appearance list in EuroLeague, down in the block. Darius Miller working away, dumped down low, gets his own rebound, is Radosevich, balled loose. There you see evidence of bodies hitting the floor, just like coach Andrea Trinchieri asked for. Driving the lane, but running into trouble. Radosevich making himself a disruptive presence on the interior. Kozer out to the perimeter, back in the hands of Kozer. Being guarded by Frid zone, dumped down. R10 Jackson guarding Darius Miller. Miller trying to back him down. Have a whistle. R10 Jackson called for the foul. So those two players have picked up a foul each in their efforts to defend one another. So still scoreless. Approaching a minute and a half gone. Kozer picks up his dribble. Nowhere to go, really, looking for an outlet. Finds Melli, launches from 3, and opens the scoring with the first 3-pointer of the game. 56% from 3-point territory this season, Nicolo Melli. And he gives the home side an early lead. Frid zone. Somehow gets his way into the lane because he faked the shot, then went to the dribbling. As he went to pick up the ball again, he was hacked from all directions. It's the turnover that's going to result. So Trinchieri looking to get his team back into the winning habit. Every game they've contested has been competitive. On the wrong side of the result from their point of view. Kozer inside, Radosevich mugged by Frid zone. He puts his hand up immediately to acknowledge that it's he who committed the foul. Trying to get the ball up into big man territory. There's the offload from Kozer, trying to get it up. He went to the pump fake and brought it right back down into Frid zone's chest. Frid zone called for the foul, and it's another 3-pointer. Fabian Kozer had a profitable time against CSKA Moscow last year when he was playing, not for Brose Bamberg, I hasten to add. But now on this offense, it's down to Hines. Jackson, almost off the foot of Miller, working the dribble, gets into the lane, ducks his head down and gets to the glass. That's a terrific drive and finish by R10 Jackson. 58% from 2-point territory for the season, and that gives you an indication as to why strong-bodied guard used his driving ability to good effect there. Almost taken away, wide open. Short on the shot was Miller. R10 Jackson not electing not to run, rather taking the time to establish the half-court set. Off the foot of Kyle Hines. Now, who touched that last? Indeed, Hines who touched it last. So it's Brose Bamberg who have a 4-point lead. Melli to the hands of Kozer. He's got it by Fridzone, picks up his dribble. Back to Melli once again. He's got it by Veroncevic. Working the dribble baseline, gets baseline, offloads to Radicevic, perhaps just beyond the range of the towering center. Now it's Higgins working the dribble. Veroncevic fakes the three. Now, what's the call here? Is it a foul on Melli? He can't believe it. So here's the reception, here's the shot fake. Melli, the cardinal sin of going off his feet, and that's just forearm contact. Perhaps a little bit of a soft call, but the players are going to have to adjust to how the game is being called. 2 fouls per team now. Hines dips the shoulder, works the dribble. Double dribble is the call, so it's another turnover. Kyle Hines is in the vicinity of. One of them came off his foot. There's confirmation. I think on this occasion it was a double dribble. Picking up the dribble and then committing it again. Coach Itudis doesn't agree with the call. It's been made by the referee, so CSKA Moscow employing a mild full court press here. Aaron Jackson loosely guarding the ball handler. Zizis. Big step through and right-handed dribble drive from Leon Radicevic. 3 team fouls against CSKA Moscow now. Not even at the midpoint of this opening period. Kyle Hines assessed for his first. So Kozer driving against Fridzone, who's already picked up a foul. That's a backcourt violation, surely. Yep, over the halfway line. Went Fabian Kozer, and the pressure defense being applied by CSKA Moscow paying dividends as the home team coughed the ball up. So checking into the game for the visitors, Nikita Kabanov coming off a 7-point, 10 rebound, 1 steal performance. Also checking in is Milos Teodosic. Remember, he is just 4 points away from 2,500 points for his EuroLeague career, which would make him the 6th man to that milestone. And given the way that Teodosic has been scoring as he comes in and pulls the trigger straight away, make that 2,499 points for Milos Teodosic. 1 point shy now of reaching 2.5K for his career. And if he continues in this prolific scoring form, well, I think he's going to overhaul as Darius Miller turns the ball over. Kyle Hines, the dribble drive and coast-to-coast slam dunk from the powerhouse center of CSKA Moscow. His presence helping to force the steal. He picked the pocket of Darius Miller and just bulldozed his way down court before punishing the rim to give CSKA Moscow their first lead of the game. Another turnover by Brose Bamberg. And it's Aaron Jackson now being guarded by Kozer. Screen set by Kyle Hines, Veroncevic, and that is how the league's leading scoring team can put points on a board in a hurry. 93.7 points per game is their average. It's a plus 14 margin of advantage over Brose Bamberg, who are averaging 79. And just like that, the points total has been piled up. Strong move on the inside from Darius Miller. Couldn't finish in the face of contact. So secondary break opportunity perhaps. Veroncevic fakes the 3. Darius Miller bought it. Last touch by Brose Bamberg. Now here's the turnover, forced by a triumvirate of CSKA Moscow defenders. Kyle Hines getting up full speed, and that man is inertia personified. Wouldn't like to stand for a charge when he gets in a roll, and Fabian Kozer thought better of it, rattling the rim. So timeout on the floor. And the home team are trailing by 4. Both teams using the 3 ball to good effect. In point of fact, those are the only points that the home team Brose Bamberg have scored. Fabian Kozer and Nicolo Melli connecting from downtown. Other than that, 2 for 3 from 2-point territory. So the turnover count is higher than both coaches would like. Look to shore up their handling of the basketball as this game progresses.
Die große Runde Dancers hat zusammen. Unser Video of the Day heute. Die brandneue Sonderedition der Holdings im Preis von 69,95. Das Polo für 29,95. Die Quetschung hier der Brose Arena.
So Nico Zizis was teammates with Vorontsevich and Kriapa Kabanov when they won that EuroLeague title back in 2008, so he'll be familiar with all of their tendencies and their predilections. What impact can he make on the game here tonight? A man who is currently 6th in the rankings for assists, but here's the league leader in assists, Milos Teodosic. Before Kyle Hines rumbled his way down the court for that fast break dunk. Now that Teodosic is on 2,499 points as Yanis Strelnieks checks into the game. Fabian Koza takes a seat. I think he's going to reel in and perhaps surpass Felipe Reyes tonight, who is 5th on the all-time scoring list with 2,508 points in his EuroLeague career. Jackson working the dribble. Vorontsevich from downtown, back iron on this shot. Zizis with the board. Zizis picks up at the three-point line. Melli drives past Vorontsevich as though he wasn't there. Good shot fake from Tice. Inside to Miller, goes to the fadeaway jump shot, dances around the rim. Terrific tip. Daniel Tice active around the boards and getting that stick back to 4. Wonderful anticipation and timing. The first 2-point field goal of the game for Brose Bamberg comes from the hands of Daniel Tice, averaging 9 points per game. So rim shot into the hands of Strelnieks. Another one of the 100% free throw shooters on the Brose squad. Kabanov will be whistled for the foul as he employed too much contact trying to defend down in the low post. So he's called for his first, that's the team 4th. James Augustine checking into the game. Strelnieks offloads to Zizis. Zizis drives right, using the screen. Inside, wide open, was Tice. Instead, the shot was fired up from the perimeter. Aaron Jackson coming down with it for CSKA Moscow. So he's been guarded by Strelnieks. Teodosic making himself available. He has it now, little two-man game between he and Aaron Jackson, who gets to the hoop once again, decides to offload. Vorontsevich for 3, back iron, off left. Tipped into the hands of Strelnieks by Daniel Tice. Inside it goes. Melli had wonderful position. What a finish. Absolutely superb finger roll on the inside. Exploded up and just laid it home, trickling it over the glass to tie the game at 10. 5 points in the game now for Nicolo Melli. So Jackson being guarded by Melli now. Jackson using his advantage in foot speed, gets to the hole. That one was disrupted by Daniel Tice. And Melli, the league's 2nd leading rebounder, comes down with it inside to Tice, working the pump fake and goes up strong right through Vorontsevich to move to 4 points in the game. And what an interior presence he has provided for Brose Bamberg since coming off the bench. Foul's going to be called on Nico Zizis. He attempted to defend Milos Teodosic, do so successfully. He's called for his first foul. Here's the finish on the inside from Daniel Tice. Strong move on the interior. As well as that inside presence, he's also shooting 50% from downtown for this season. Trying to drive the lane and get a finish was Corey Higgins. Serious outside threat. 50% from three-point land so far for the season. Augustine beyond his shooting territory. Sets the screen, rolling to the bucket now. Teodosic picks up his dribble, offloads. Corey Higgins firing under pressure from an elapsing shot clock. Back iron on the shot. Now it's Strelnieks. Errant pass beyond the outstretched hand of Maodo Lowe. Two of the starters, Kyle Hines and Aaron Jackson, just getting a breather on the bench. Maodo Lowe not able to reel in that stray ball from Yanis Strelnieks. So Teodosic driving hard, kicks out to Augustine. That's beyond his territory. That's why he's not shaping up to shoot. Instead, he offloads. Kriapa gave it to Teodosic. He's working the dribble against Melli. He's going to fancy this isolation. Pulls it back to the open court. Dances by him as though he's not there. Circus shot goes up strong. Tipped home wonderfully by James Augustine. Shooting 70% from two-point territory for the season. 66% for his career from his territory around the basket, and that gives you an idea as to why. 13 points and 10 rebounds in round 9, both season highs in the win over Baskonia Vitoria Gasteiz. Driving hard, offloading, trying to offload. Down low was Patrick Heckman, but the pass attempt was broken up, and it's another turnover committed by the home team. Backdoor cut from Teodosic is wonderful. Up strong goes James Augustine and dunks on Brose Bamberg. 4 points in the game for him. And once again, this made by the court vision of Teodosic, right on top of Patrick Heckman, delivering the facial, and a 2-point lead for CSKA Moscow. So Strelnex driving the lane. Melli thinks about the three. Maodo low, guarded by Teodosic. Back to Melli. Oh, now that's a really lax defensive effort. Now, who is that foul called upon? Victor Kriapa saw that he was beaten, so just lengthened a strong arm to prevent the Brose Bamberg ball handler getting into the lane. I'm not sure whether the foul was committed before that. It is indeed on Kriapa, playing in his 12th season in EuroLeague. Approaching 200 games for his career. CSKA Moscow now in the penalty, and that sends Nicolo Melli to the free throw line. Makes the first. Perfect on that trip to the stripe, Nicolo Melli. 74% free throw shooter for his career as Elias Harris checks into the game for the home team. He played his college basketball at Gonzaga University in the States, so Kriapa able to handle that pass. Now Kabanov out to Teodosic. He fires from three and drains another one. Milos Teodosic has just passed 2,500 points for his EuroLeague career. He goes to 2,502, and Felipe Reyes will be in his crosshairs during the course of this contest, because he is the man just ahead of him in 5th place on the all-time EuroLeague scoring list with 2,508. That's the drive and finish by Maodo Low to give Brose Bamberg back to within one. The buzzer beater short on the shot. And at the end of the first quarter of play, Brose Bamberg, the home team, trailing by 1. Brose Bamberg 16, CSKA Moscow 17, and there's confirmation of the milestone that has just been surpassed by the magical Milos Teodosic. Over 2,500 points for his EuroLeague career now. He continues to surpass milestones all season long, and there's confirmation of the score at the end of 10 minutes of play. Brose Bamberg 16, CSKA Moscow 17.
Thousands of persons at risk have participated in one team.
Our ports are open to our communities. One team brings positive change to our society.
Some of the highlights from the first quarter. Brose Bamberg opening up their account from beyond the arc. The first 6 points came from downtown. Kyle Hines went coast to coast after picking the pocket of Darius Miller. Look out below, Fabian Kozer. That's a powerhouse, attacking the rim at full speed. And Milos Teodosic came off the bench and launched from downtown straight away. That moved him to 2,499 points. And look at this for a pretty pass. Hooking up James Augustine, who had 4 points in that opening quarter, right around the rim. Take a look at the numbers from that first period of play. Both teams identical from two-point territory. Both of them doing pretty well from beyond the arc as well. CSKA Moscow not getting to the free throw line. Conquering 4 steals. Brose Bamberg turning the ball over 6 times. Though they do have a slight edge in total rebounds. So confirmation once again of Milos Teodosic breaching the barrier of 2,500 points, just the 6th man in EuroLeague history to do so. Continues to pile up the individual accomplishments. More than anything, he wants another EuroLeague title for the reigning champions. So pressing defense, trapping defense being employed by CSKA Moscow now. Racing out to the corner is Kabanov. Myodo low, short on the shot. Almost an air ball, just managed to draw iron marginally before going into the hands of Teodosic. So it's Corey Higgins being guarded by Lowe. Works in with the dribble, gets to the hole. He's saying that he should be going to the free throw line for 2 shots. Will the referees give him continuation? Myodo Lowe was beaten by the hesitation dribble there. Corey Higgins goes to the free throw line. So Corey Higgins, his father had a lengthy career in the NBA, shooting 81% from the free throw line this season. His dad was Rod Higgins, 13-year veteran in the NBA, averaging 9 points and 4 rebounds per game. Golden State as the second free throw. Tipped away by Heckman, but only into the hands of CSKA Moscow. Kriapa working the low post, pulls up from the short corner, and the veteran, Victor Kriapa, in his 12th EuroLeague season, knocking it down from the short corner to give CSKA Moscow a 4-point lead with his first points of the game. So Strelniks, Tice, just by the elbow, into the hands of Heckman. Second season in EuroLeague, still working the dribble against Augustine, kicks it to the corner. Myodo low, short on the shot, big rebound on the inside. Daniel Tice and CSKA Moscow. Well, the shot clock didn't reset there. That's why I paused momentarily, because they should have been given another 14 from my vantage point. Higgins to Kriapa. Picks up his dribble, he needs an outlet. Inside it goes to Kabanov. Jump hook, is that goaltending? No, say the officials. Caught on the way up, inside it goes. And the long arm of Victor Kriapa remained composed and was able to nail the follow-up jump hook. That was a remarkable rejection. Got off the ground so quickly and swatted the first shot attempt away. Here it is again, inside to Kabanov. Look at the reactions, catching that shot. Elias Harris tossing it out. Looked like it was on his downward trajectory to me, and that's why James Augustine is saying goaltending. Is it on the... I think that should have been a goaltend, personally. The EuroLeague officials, they have a better vantage point than I. So timeout on the floor. CSKA Moscow. Well, that most certainly isn't Myodo Lowe. That is Nicolo Melli, one of the main components of Brose Bamberg's inside game. He's taking a seat on the bench. Nico Zizi's handling in the perimeter. Kriapa's lost his footing. That's an advantage before. Brose Bamberg battling his way inside and getting the shot to fall is Daniel Theis. Now, was that too much contact initiated by the home player? Because I don't think that basket is going to count. It's being waved off, but my goodness, was he strong in the paint there. No, it's still a 6-point margin, and an unsportsmanlike foul is being called. Now, who is that against? Elias Harris, with what I could interpret as a guilty look on his face. So that's going to be 2 shots and possession for CSKA Moscow. My goodness. To the free throw line goes Victor Kriapa. He'll be the man charged with taking the 2 free throws. At least he's stepping up and declaring that's what he wants to do. So 2 shots and possession for the unsportsmanlike foul called against Elias Harris. He rattles the first one home. Victor Kriapa, that's just his 3rd free throw of the season. So he's now 2 of 3 so far. But for his career, a solid 72% from the charity stripe. He makes both. Now, yeah, well, there's confirmation, but my goodness. That's part of the new interpretation of the rule. Anything that prevents a basket scoring opportunity or is deemed to be an attempt not on the ball, that 3-pointer won't count because it's traveling being called against Victor Kriapa. Would have been 5 points for Kriapa alone had he not been called for the travel. But anything that isn't an attempt to play the basketball can be called as an unsportsmanlike foul. And that was the case there. Elias Harris, as Hustle takes that ball away from Brose Bamberg. Milos Teodosic was trying a bounce pass through a forest of Brose Bamberg defenders' legs. Only found one of them. So Brose Bamberg not punished the 5-point trip down the floor, but Brose Bamberg then turned the ball over on their ensuing possession. So the net result could well be the same as they go inside to Augustine. That's a line drive inside jump shot, never got over the rim, clattered off into the hands of Brose Bamberg. Darius Miller now. James Augustine steps out onto the screen and they take it away. Backcourt violation, surely. Another one committed, courtesy of the pressure defense being applied by CSKA Moscow. Kabanov caught on the screen, Augustine leaping out. Kabanov comes back in, it's a 2-on-1 situation. Darius Miller, when he finally gets it back into his hands, he's got 1 foot in either camp. 1 in his own half, 1 in CSKA Moscow's half, and that is not permitted in the game of basketball. So another turnover committed by the home team. From downtown is Kabanov, off right, big rebound pulled in by Theis. Brose Bamberg looking to run, sees this inside to Theis. Darius Miller did well to keep it alive. It's Kozer who has it now into the hands of Miller, who's guarded by Kabanov. There's the same screen again, so it's a 2-on-1 in terms of defenders. Theis working like a yeoman on the inside. Kriapa from 3, back iron. Defensive rebound this time, Theis. Putting in 5 a game for Brose Bamberg. Ably assisting Nicolo Melli, who is the team leader at 8 rebounds per game. Inside to Theis, doesn't get the roll on this occasion. That's how close it was. Anguish in the stands among the Brose Bamberg supporters. Theis, my goodness, what a game he is having so far. Not with just what he's doing on the box score, but with his activity. And combined with that length and that skill, it's causing real problems for CSKA Moscow on the inside, proving very difficult to contain. 4 points in the game, perfect from the field. 4 rebounds as well. So timeout on the floor once again. Still CSKA Moscow with the advantage in this opening half. Some of the highlights from the first half so far. Three-pointer from Nicolo Melli. Drive and finish from Aaron Jackson. Kyle Hines going coast to coast. This fast break dunk. 60% from two-point territory, Kyle Hines. Darius Miller trying the fadeaway. Look at Daniel Theis with that tip in. He goes to the free throw line now. For the first time in this game. Makes the first. Rattles home the second to move to 6 points in the game, Daniel Theis. That shot is off, and Daniel Theis again. My goodness, he's doing so much good work on the inside for Brose Bamberg. Setting the screen there. Melli moves the ball around to Miller, back down to Melli. Short corner baseline shot is good. Nicolo Melli moves to 9 points in the game on that second two-point field goal. Brose Bamberg continuing to hang around in what is a two-possession game. Corey Higgins gives it to Teodosic. Kyle Hines sets the screen, and now he's just backing down Zizis, but indeed an offensive foul. Zizis were just abused by Kyle Hines on that play, but it was illegal. After he set the screen, watch away, just barrels his man with that arm lock down the lane, and picked up quickly by the referee. Kyle Hines called for his second foul. So Zizis gives it to Kozer. Darius Miller gives it back to Zizis. He gets into the lane, picks up the dribble, skip pass to the corner. Melli beyond the three-point line, pulls up just on the inside, and knocks down the pull-up jump shot to move to double figures in the game. Nicolo Melli, 9.2 points per game. 11 points per game for this season. Third leading scorer on his team. Terrific rebound on the inside from Andrej Veroncevic. So prolific from three-point territory, but getting down and dirty on the boards there to extend his team's lead to 4. Skip pass inside to Theis. Theis has it knocked away. All kinds of CSKA Moscow defenders converged around him, and they were able to prize that ball away and get themselves a new half-court set. Nice crossover by Teodosic, and fakes out the man with the pass. My goodness. What a highlight reel move all in one. The crossover dribble, the fake to pass, which has to be respected given this man's court vision. The defender bought it, and he just glided his way to the hole to continue on this milestone-setting night for Teodosic. 8 points in the game now for him. Now that's going to be a foul. That on a three-point shot. Cardinal sin committed by the defender there, Vitaly Fridzone. He's saying why, but it's his second foul. We just have to see where the shooter's feet were. Kyle Hines is intimating that Kozer was on the three-point line. So it should only be 2 shots, but what say the officials? Fabian Kozer had a career-high 10 rebounds against CSKA Moscow last year when he was playing for Baskonia Vitoria Gasteiz. That was in the March 15 encounter. In January 15, he pocketed a career-high 5 steals against CSKA Moscow. Were in losing efforts, but it was indeed a three-point shot attempt. He goes 2 for 3 on that trip to the free throw line. Fabian Kozer moved to 5 points in the game. So much time for Nando De Colo. Terrific finish by De Colo. He moves to double digits now. that his second two-point field goal. Poked away by Fritzone, wonderful anticipation. Kyle Hines going with him, up strong goes Fritzone. He's knocked into the basket stanchion, but finished anyway to give CSKA Moscow an 8-point lead. So just over 3.5 minutes to play in this first half. Brose Bamberg took the lead early when they opened the scoring with 2 consecutive three-pointers. Once CSKA Moscow got their noses in front, they haven't trailed since. That's the way back into the game. Nicolo Melli from downtown. First points of the game for him. Keeps Brose Bamberg within touching distance. They're trailing by 5. Inside to Kyle Hines. He struggled to handle on the first attempt. Getting physical with Milos Teodosic. Kyle Hines kicked it out. Fritzone fakes the 3, pulls up on the long 2, and rattles that home to beat the shot clock. That's a terrific finish by the man who just got a fast break opportunity a few moments ago, and then follows up with a difficult jump shot under pressure from the defender and an expiring shot clock, and he comes up with another steal again. It's Nando Nicolo who will get the credit for it, but it was created by Fritzone. Nando Nicolo looking to apply the dagger with that fast break three-pointer, or that transition three-pointer, couldn't get it to go. Said Nicolo, Milos Teodosic, of course, excuse me. Nicolo Melli drains it from downtown, much to the chagrin of coach Adidas. From the perimeter, that's a terrific finish from Corey Higgins. From downtown, the man who is #1 among active players all time in three-point percentage, 53.2% from beyond the arc. Driving the lane, that's the offload. Now, is that going to be an offensive foul called against Fabian Kozer? His reaction suggests that it's going to be. He did terrifically well to get into the lane. So the offensive foul called, timeout on the floor. CSKA Moscow with a 7-point lead in the closing stages of the first half. There's Daniel Tice working hard on the inside. Modo low, turning on the jets on the dribble move. Now that's the call that wasn't called goaltending. On the rejection, here's Fritzone with the steal and fast break finish under pressure from Nicolo Melli. Melli then connecting his second three-pointer of the game. Perfect from three-point territory so far. That's 14 points in the game, does Nicolo Melli, to lead all scorers. Milos Teodosic leads CSKA Moscow effort. He's the only man into double figures for the visitors. So checking into the game is Vladimir Beremienko. That's a welcome return for the veteran big man. Injury problems this season. His experience and size gives him a valuable presence down on the interior. Piapa, Corey Higgins looking for his second 3. Short on the shot, and immediately the rebound hauled in by Beremienko.
Also, number 22, Corey Higgins, first person, erstes Foul. 14 von Moscow, 6 Foul.
Madrid losing by a single point against Fenerbahce. Corey Higgins called for his first foul. So Zizis floats to Darius Miller. He's guarded by Corey Higgins, looking for position down on the inside, where he's got a huge size mismatch with Vladimir Veremienko. Instead, it's fired up from the perimeter with the shot clock ticking down. Nice pass from Vitaly Fridzone to find Aaron Jackson. So ball movement around the three-point arc. Fridzone popping up on the other side of the court. Corey Higgins, 8 seconds left on the shot clock, working the dribble, gets into the lane, which is wide open. And do we call that a dunk? Maybe, maybe. He just squeaked it over the rim, but regardless, it's a wide open score as Brose Bamberg's defense broke down horribly. As it was just opened up, Corey Higgins couldn't believe his eyes. Aaron Jackson pulling up from beyond 3 to beat the buzzer. Rim rattled, inside of the rebound, and then a foul. So the effort of CSKA Moscow rewarded, and Brose Bamberg could well be facing a double-digit deficit here, because to the free throw line for CSKA Moscow. Goes Semen Antonov. Hauled in that rebound, did Antonov, and then was fouled when he went back up strong. First points of the game for him. And a perfect 2 for 2 from the line for Semen Antonov, his first free throws of this season. And at the end of 2 quarters of play, Brose Bamberg find themselves trailing by 11 at the half here at Brose Arena. It's Brose Bamberg 30, CSKA Moscow 41.
Turkish Airlines, 7 days. Bedviktor, Tadim, Denizbank, and Siesta, official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
Well, this unit have got to find a way to overcome an 11-point deficit. They were outscored by 10 in the second quarter. There's confirmation after hanging tough in the first period. The ball up 14 times means you get more shot attempts if you're CSKA Moscow. 11 shots from 2-point territory, 11 from downtown. CSKA Moscow have taken 21 2-point shots and 13 3-pointers in that first half. Just 22 field goal attempts overall for the home team, compared to 34 for the visitors. And that type of disparity, well, odds are we're going to come out on the wrong end of the game. Tied up on the rebound charts, 15 boards per team apiece. Those turnovers, well, you heard Coach Andrea Trinchieri saying that they've got to do a better job of looking after the basketball, because nothing can get, they can't get into any of their sets, any of their schemes, if they can't get themselves a look at the basket, because they don't have the ball. So the second half underway. Brose Bamberg, the home team, looking to snap this 4-game losing skid, trailing by 11. CSKA Moscow with the first possession. Corey Higgins drives, kicks out to Vorontsevich. He knew that was down as soon as it left his hand. And Andrei Vorontsevich gives CSKA Moscow the best possible start. So Melli Zizis. Picked up his dribble inside, it goes to Melli. Looking to work the size advantage he has over Teodosic, but he's double teamed as Fritzone comes over to help. From the corner, short on the shot was Strelnieks. So again, the defensive intensity of CSKA Moscow just causing Brose Bamberg to be a little bit out of sync on their first offense to begin quarter number 3. It's Higgins. Augustine has set the screen and rolled down the lane. The shot clock is down to 3. Teodosic, my goodness, what a remarkable three-pointer. Kulagin celebrating on the bench. Milos Teodosic with his third three-pointer of the game to move to 13 points in the game. Darius Miller. Guarded by Higgins on the inside, bumping and banging with the shoulder, dumped down low, terrific finish by Theis off a very good find, an unselfish find by Darius Miller. Daniel Theis moved to 8 points in the game, trying to inspire his team. They're trailing by 15 now. Teodosic orchestrating things as he goes head-to-head with his fellow EuroLeague veteran, Nico Zizis. Oh, Higgins lost his dribble and almost twisted his knee. Looked rather nasty for a moment. Vorontsevic has it rejected forcefully by Nicolo Melli, who says, I don't think so. Vorontsevic never really had any momentum going to the basket, barely got off the ground. Nicolo Melli went up in his channel of verticality and just rubbed that one out. Inside it goes. Melli caught napping, Vorontsevic ever alert, and of course Teodosic canny enough to find him. Easy pickings under the basket. Augustine with a dangerous but ultimately successful save, and it's another turnover committed. And James Augustine with the running finish, terrific play. 6 points in the game now for him, and he'll go to the free throw line looking for one more. Bounce pass from Teodosic. Continues to pile up the assists. Does Teodosic make that his third of the game? And unsurprisingly, timeout has been called because CSKA Moscow have started this third quarter brilliantly. Brose Bamberg being outscored 8 points to 2. That is why they trail by 19 early in the third period. So Teodosic off the screen, and in the eye, Nicolo Melli. The drive, the kick, Andre Vorontsevic. That is what prompted Andre Trinchieri to want to discuss things with his team. The rapid start made by CSKA Moscow to begin quarter number 3. To the free throw line now, looking to complete a three-point play, goes James Augustine. Just 59% from the stripe this season. Unable to get the first one to fall on that, his first trip to the free throw line in this game. So approaching 2.5 minutes gone in quarter number 3. Zizis gets into the lane looking to offload. He finds Miller. Miller now working the dribble against Fritzone. Inside the lane, wonderful offload. Theis, the beneficiary, goes up strong underneath the hoop. There was a power dribble, came up strong on the other side. There's the power dribble. There's the strong move against James Augustine. And Daniel Theis continuing to work terrifically under the basket. Perfect from two-point territory. Go with his 5 rebounds as well. Dancing on the dribble is Corey Higgins. James Augustine with an offensive board. Teodosic able to hold that one in. Augustine has to make himself available. Teodosic was pinned close to the sideline by 2 Brose Bamberg defenders. Almost a backcourt violation, into the hands and out again of Corey Higgins. So CSKA Moscow committing a turnover. Vorontsevich had no choice but to haul that one upwards, almost a Hail Mary, in the hope that somebody could catch it. Otherwise, it would have been a backcourt violation. Higgins got a couple of hands on it, but couldn't control ultimately. Strelnik sees a lane, pulls up, Fritzone hassling him every step of the way. More trapping being employed by CSKA Moscow. Zizis driving forcefully against Teodosic. Fritzone will be called for the foul. Fritzone called for his third foul of the game. 3.5 minutes gone in the open period. Zizi, third period. Zizi's fakes Tice from the free throw line, short on the shot, into the hands of Tice. Nobody getting a body in front of him. Now that's nasty looking. Nothing malicious involved. James Augustine out in no man's land as far as he's concerned. He's a very active defender, but the edge in foot speed resided squarely with Nico Zizis. And he blew by him so easily that the foot of James Augustine was still in the spot where it was initially, and that's what caused the trip. Thankfully, Nico Zizis is okay. So sideline ball, 14 seconds on the shot clock, 6 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the period. Three-pointer from Yanis Strelnik. And that perhaps a route back into the game. You see the numbers on the three-point shooting for Strelnik this season. Vorontsevich continuing to make it a comfortable position. 12 points in the game now for Vorontsevich. Inside it goes. Radosevich, who made the catch on the inside but elected to kick it out. So inbounds pass received by Strelnik. He's guarded by Augustine, shuffling his feet well, extending his arms to disrupt the attempted passing lane. Darius Miller pulls up, goes high off the glass in the face of two CSKA Moscow defenders. And this perhaps where Brose Bamberg look to make their run. They've reduced the deficit to 14. Basketball, a game of momentum, of course, and at the moment, Brose Bamberg were playing well. CSKA Moscow trying to find James Augustine on the interior. He's fouled by Nico Zizis. He's called for his second personal foul. He attempted to break up the interior pass attempt to James Augustine. So end-line ball for CSKA Moscow. James Augustine has it. Corey Higgins finds Teodosic, who works the dribble, trying to find James Augustine, who was cutting towards the basket, but only found the feet of the Brose Bamberg defenders. So Aaron Jackson into the game. Corey Higgins takes a seat on the bench. Aaron Jackson with 2 points on an acrobatic drive as Teodosic comes with an acrobatic drive of his own, but Nicolo Melli with another rejection. Brose Bamberg off and running, right into the toes of Yanis Strelnik. He couldn't control the pass from Miller effectively. Melli now sees a lane and drives for the finish. Nicolo Melli moves to 16 points in the game. This is the rejection, so end-to-end stuff for the inside force for Brose Bamberg. Nice catch. Kabanov thought about trying to go for the alley-oop, but he couldn't contort his body into position, so had to come back down to earth, and then was fouled as he attempted to go back up. Foul called on Leon Radosevich, his first. It will send Nikita Kabanov to the free-throw line. 82% foul shooter for his career, Kabanov. Shooting at 87% from the stripe this season. So first point of the game for Kabanov. Radicevic. That's ultimately handled by Kozer. And look at CSKA Moscow hitting the deck in an effort to make life difficult, just to make sure Varantsevic knocked that shot attempt away from Nicolo Melli, but it's James Augustine who will be whistled for the foul. So here he is, Melli beating Augustine, but helping out from the blind side was Nicolo Melli. So that will send, was Andrei Varantsevic, that will send Nicolo Melli to the free throw line. Makes the first. 17 points in the game now for Melli. He's perfect from the stripe so far. And he extends that trend. 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Moves to 18 points in the game to lead all scorers. Teodosic from three-point territory. Milos Teodosic connecting from downtown once again. Fourth successful three-pointer, 16 points in the game. Inside, the score is finished by Strelniks. But really, Brose Bamberg not in a position where they can afford to engage in a shootout with the league's leading scoring team. They've got to get some stops on the board somehow. They're forcing turnovers or forcing CSKA Moscow into difficult shots. That's a difficult pass for Augustine to handle. Both teams, players from both teams hitting the deck in an effort to secure that loose ball. So, end-line possession in favor of Brose Bamberg. Look to reduce a 12-point deficit. Augustine guarding Varantsevic. Melli setting a screen. He's shadowed by Varantsevic. Strelniks sees a lane, tries to penetrate. There was a whistle before he released the ball towards the basket. That foul put CSKA Moscow in the penalty. Varantsevic called for his first, so to the free throw line will go Yanis Strelniks. And that's for a foul off the ball while he was wrestling against Leon Radicevic. So as a matter of fact, it's Radicevic who will go to the free throw line. 83% foul shooter for this season. 73% for his career. One of two for his first point of the game for Leon Radicevic. And again, that's an avenue back into the game for Brose Bamberg. As a team, they shoot 82% from the stripers, driving acrobatically once again and hitting the hardwood is Aaron Jackson. Can't get it to fall. Darius Miller from downtown. Count the basket. And the momentum continues to be with the home team. Clawing back the deficit to trail now by just 8 inside the double-digit margin, which is so important psychologically. And their fans here in getting into full voice. The transition three-pointer nailed by the team's leading scorer, Darius Miller. Shooting 39% from three-point territory for the season, and that came at a timely moment. Nicolo Melli doing a wonderful job. 2 blocks he's registered tonight to go with his 18 points. That man, Daniel Tice, has assisted him admirably. Strelniks from downtown. We see some of the barrage of three-point shooting that Brose Bamberg have used to get their way back into this game. 6 of 14 from downtown now, 43%. Nicolo Melli with another rejection, really making his presence felt beneath the basket and making life difficult for the CSKA Moscow forwards. Handing out a timely assist. Second leading rebounder in the league. And that potted history as to why Brose Bamberg are back to within touching distance against CSKA Moscow. Just over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's an 8-point advantage for the visitors. Kyle Hines back into the game after taking a lengthy breather. Kriapa sees a lane, goes to the spin move, picks up the dribble. Kyle Hines from beyond the arc. Capable of knocking down that shot, but he's used to muscling things up closer to the basket. That shot off the mark. 2 points in the game so far, Kyle Hines. Brose Bamberg knocked down another 3-pointer. Fabian Kozer bringing Brose Bamberg back to within 5. Perfect from beyond the arc in this game so far. Inside it goes to Hines. This is his territory, and that's why he's so effective. He's inquiring about the unsportsmanlike foul against Nicolo Melli. But that is two powerful figures going head-to-head beneath the basket, as we see Fabian Kozer, that sweet left-handed stroke, draining his second 3-pointer of the game and bringing Brose Bamberg back to within 5. Now this is a way to break the momentum by nailing free throws. Kyle Hines makes the first. From the free throw line this season, 60% Kyle Hines. Line drive on the second, almost dented the rim. By going 1 of 2 and moving to 3 points in the game. CSKA Moscow, a 6-point lead now. Lots of activity away from the basketball, with players trying to utilize screens and therefore players trying to set screens and then trying to fight his way over one of said screens. See Corey Higgins called for the foul, and again CSKA Moscow in the penalty, so it sends Strelnex to the free throw line. Now we talked about the foul shooting prowess of Nico Zizis. This man isn't too bad either. Yanis Strelnex duly making both 13 for 13 this season, make that 15 for 15 now. Yanis Strelnex, who's made 22 consecutive free throws in EuroLeague games now by nailing those 2 on that trip down the floor. Kyle Hines having his feet taken from beneath him. Strelnex called for his first. Brose Bamberg now in the penalty. And that will send Kyle Hines to the free throw line. So Hines, 1 of 2 from the stripe so far, makes the first. Again, foul shooting not necessarily his forte. But he's perfect on that trip to the line. Kyle Hines moving to 5 points in the game now. CSKA Moscow leading by 6. From the perimeter, my goodness, Darius Miller is feeling it. The team's leading scorer coming to the party late in the game, nailing another difficult 3-pointer. 2 for 3 from downtown now, 8 points in the game for him, but he's coming to life in money time. Dmitry Kulagin behind the back to Hines. Hines goes up strong, ball loose, ultimately into the hands of Miller. And when you're feeling it in the manner that he is, why not pull up from downtown? The ball's remaining in his hands right now. He offloads, he finds Melli. Posting up strong is Radosevich. Look at the size mismatch down low, but quick feet from Dmitry Kulagin. But he did so illegally, pushing off against his man. There was a real tussle down in the low post between Dmitry Kulagin and Leon Radosevich. Massive disparity in height. Radosevich 2.08 meters tall. Kulagin, relatively diminutive guard at 1.97 meters. Brose Bamberg, to the credit, trying to exploit that size mismatch. Kulagin got a hand on the ball, but did so unfairly. So to the free throw line goes Radicevic. Short on the first. So, only 1 for 3 so far in this game. Radicevic. 50% from the line in the game for the man who's shooting, or was shooting, 83% for the season coming in. Nico Zizis has no such problems from the charity stripe. 29 for 29 coming into this game. He's yet to make a trip to the foul line so far. Just 1 3-pointer is his offensive contribution in terms of point scoring. So Kalagin almost lost the handle, being defended closely by Kozur. Radicevic on him now, loses that battle of mobility. Fans don't like the call. You saw Kalagin lose his feet, and I think that's because his foot collided with that of Radicevic. Only going to be one winner in a battle like this in the open court. It's not even feet, it's knees coming together. Femur on femur. That will send Kalagin to the free throw line. 2 points, 2 assists, one with 1 rebound in 13 minutes in round 9 against Baskonia Vitoria Gasteiz. Rattles home the first. And the flags in the background doing their job. It's the first miss of the season from the free throw line for Dimitri Kalagin. Though he doesn't register among the lofty numbers we talked about for Strelnex, because there was only foul shots number 3 and 4. So Radicevic fancying his chances, double team applied, and effectively so by Victor Kriapa. Now Brose Bamberg trying to show press. The shot clock has been turned off. We're inside the final 7 seconds. Ball in the hands. Corey Higgins, deadly marksman from downtown. He pulls up. Rim shot. Not controlled by either side. So a terrific fight back by Brose Bamberg. Brings them back to within 3 with 1 quarter of play to go. Absolutely sensational tenacity demonstrated by the home team. Outscoring CSKA Moscow 28-19 in quarter number 3.
Thousands of persons at risk have participated in one team.
Our courts are open to our communities. One team brings positive change to our society.
So we'll look at some of the third quarter highlights. Brose Bamberg fought back terrifically. Andre Vorontsevich connecting from downtown, so too was Milos Teodosic. CSKA Moscow came out of the gates very effectively indeed to begin quarter number 3. But then Nicolo Melli cranked up the defensive intensity on the inside, rejecting the shot attempt of Vorontsevich, and Daniel Tice working the glass off the power dribble. Working the boards off the power dribble on the inside. Nicolo Melli making his presence felt once again, breaking up that shot attempt of Milos Teodosic. So a fantastic fight back makes it a 1-possession game. And look at the manner in which Brose Bamberg used the 3-ball. 50% from downtown now, 8 for 16 from 3-point territory, slightly shading CSKA Moscow in that regard. These fans are playing their part as well. Fervent support. The Brose Bamberg faithful. So the final quarter underway. We've got a 3-point game here at Brose Arena. Teodosic, back iron on the shot, rebounding inside is Kyle Hines, bulldozing his way towards the basket, still in his hands, gets the shot away and sticks with it. Rewarded for his tenacity. He's saying, where's my foul? Because he was surrounded by Brose Bamberg defenders and somehow came out of it and got the inside shot to fall. So whistle on the play before the shot from Fabian Kozer. Kyle Hines reached first, and Corey Higgins. So he's the man who will picking up the foul. Indeed, one more, and he'll take no further part in the game. So he's playing on 4 fouls now. Going to have to watch how he conducts himself, walking something of a chalk line. Melli, double teamed by Hines and Teodosic. Now who's fouled? I think it's Teodosic, as he left his feet to try and take that away. Teodosic called for his first. So Strelnex offloads to Kozer, who dribbled his way back into trouble. Offloads it to Radasevic. Radasevic from the elbow. Can't get the shooter's roll. Rebound, Kriapa offloads to Teodosic. Kriapa has it now. Backdoor find for Aaron Jackson. Teodosic steps inside 3-point territory. Watch the call there. It's going to be a foul on the Brose Bamberg. Fabian Kozer trying to defend the drive from Teodosic. So they've got back to within 3. Teodosic picks up his dribble. What a wonderful find on the inside to find the streaking Kyle Hines going towards the basket. Teodosic looked as though he was in a trap, but there's always a way out for this Houdini of the hardwood. 7 points in the game now for Kyle Hines. So, Leon Radasevic takes a seat on the bench. Darius Miller, Daniel Tice on the floor for Brose Bamberg. Cutting hard towards the basket was Miller from the perimeter. Count the 3-ball. Nicolo Melli continues to light it up from downtown. He moves to 21 points in the game with his 3rd 3-pointer. Kriapa left alone, long on the shot. Tice hauls in the rebound yet again. Daniel Tice with 8 rebounds now. Zizis getting in a tangle, blocking foul called on Teodosic. And he knew it was him. Hence the high five for the official. Feet just not working, but he was hooked around his leg. Let's highlight that as well as the 2 veterans going head to head. Percussive rhythm being pounded out from the stands here in Brose Arena. Bamberg get themselves back to within 1. It's taken away, absolutely mugged was Miller by Vitaly Fridzone. A fast break opportunity not there. So now looking at options on the secondary break. Teodosic inside to Hines. And again, wonderful recognition from Teodosic. Seeing that he's got the comparatively lightweight Nico Zizis on the back of Kyle Hines. So immediately putting the ball on the inside. So Hines offloads to Jackson. Fridzone from downtown. Fighting on the inside for the rebound was Teodosic. And it's last touch by Daniel Tice to the delight of the CSKA Moscow bench, the fans here in Brose Arena. Not sharing in that ecstasy. I think confirmation that the officials were spot on with that call. Teodosic guarded loosely by Miller. Aaron Jackson picked up by Strelnex. Teodosic doesn't hesitate to launch from three. Short on the shot, rebound, Zizis. So Daniel Tice, what a reception, surrounded by three CSKA Moscow defenders. That leaves Darius Miller open. He goes to the spin move, gets inside. Outside it goes to Zizis. Second three-pointer of the game for Nico Zizis. And we have a one-point game. Brose Bamberg back to within one. Terrific fight back, and the fans beginning to believe now. Remember, 4 of the 7 losses suffered by Brose Bamberg have been by a single shot. They're tough, they're competitive, and they're demonstrating how the three-pointer from Teodosic is off the mark, but fighting on the inside for the rebound was Vitaly Fridzone. Daniel Tice looks as though he'll be whistled for the foul. This Fridzone. There's Daniel Tice and Nico Zizis in the area as well. It's Zizis who picked up the foul after nailing that second three-pointer of the game. His only 6 points of the match to go with his 4 assists and 2 rebounds. What a valuable, timely three-pointer that was, bringing the home team back to within 1. Aaron Jackson again to the hole in acrobatic, athletic fashion. Aaron Jackson has scored 4 points in the game, and both of them have been highlight reel dribble drive moves. CSKA Moscow leading by 3. They've got back to within 1, did Brose Bamberg. Can they tie here? Wrap-around pass, what a beauty! Inside it goes. Daniel Tice converts and will go to the free throw line looking to add 1 more. 12 points in the game now for Daniel Tice. He's perfect from the stripe so far, and if he can extend that trend on this three-point play opportunity, we will have a tied basketball game here in Brose Arena. Absolutely terrific find by Darius Miller. Peripheral vision personified, wrap that around. Now Daniel Tice looking to tie the game from the stripe. Daniel Tice completes the three-point play. And we have a tied basketball game at 67 points apiece. Brose Bamberg led in the early stages, 6 points to nothing. And they scored their first 2 three-point attempts to open up the scoring. But once CSKA Moscow got their noses in front, this is the first time that we have had level pegging on the scoreboard, and it's come with 6 minutes to go. Fridzone hanging in the air, gets the shooter's roll, and doesn't he like that one? He's come up with some timely plays as Vitaly Fridzone. 6 points in the game now. Difficult fast break layup which he fashioned off the steal he bagged himself. Then a long-range two-pointer. And with the game tied, Vitaly Fridzone took the responsibility, knocked down a difficult shot, Brose Bamberg in the penalty, and Vitaly Fridzone completes the three-point play. CSKA Moscow leading by 3. Just under 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Daniel Tice with the below-the-rim alley-oop off the find from Fabian Kozer. Daniel Tice, after completing the three-point play previously, moves to 14 points in the game. Backdoor cut, up strong goes Vorontsevich. Darius Miller denied him, but did so unfairly. Credit to all the players involved in that sequence of play, because it gives you an idea of just how fiercely players look to protect the rim. Vorontsevich went up strong, looking to hammer that one down. And despite the possibility of being posterized, Darius Miller, he had to go a long way around the screen to catch the cutting Vorontsevich. Still exploded, put his reputation on the line, got a piece of the ball, but did so unfairly. And Vorontsevich drains the first free throw. 67% for the season. Bamberg-CSKA goes 1 for 2 on that trip to the line. "13 points in the game now for Bamberg-CSKA, and swooping up to the hole. Fabian Kozer, and he ties the game once again at 7-1. Teodosic with another spectacular three of the pull-up variety, just outside the 5 minutes to go mark. And Milos Teodosic moves to 19 points in the game, connecting on his 5th three-pointer. Shooting 50% from downtown, and this man is nerveless. Regardless of the status of the game, he seems to play in the same apparently unconcerned fashion. And by nailing that three, he gives CSKA Moscow breathing room of 3 points. We have a timeout on the floor. Brose Bamberg will look to tie things up on the next possession when we resume. Nicolo Melli with his 2nd three-pointer of the game off that find by Darius Miller. Darius Miller, the team's leading scorer for Brose Bamberg. He's netted 8 points here, but has dished out 6 valuable assists. On that occasion, the team's leading assist makeup was the beneficiary as Nicolo Melli knocked down his 2nd three of the game. 6 points in the game for him to go along with 4 assists. Although he did pick up his 4th foul, and that's why he's currently on the bench. Strelnick's handling the basketball. Miller has it now. Tice coming to set a screen. Kabanov getting caught up on it. Offload to Melli from downtown, and the game is tied once again. Nicolo Melli, with his 4th three-pointer of the game, moves to 24 points in the game. And we have, mind you, clearly it wasn't a three-pointer. I thought it was. It's gone down as a 2. But that was a long-range 2. I'd love to see that one again, because at first glance, I thought he had connected from downtown for the 4th time in the game. So it's a 1-point game. Both teams in the penalty. 4.5 minutes to go here in the 4th and final period. Brose Bamberg, as they have done in all 9 rounds so far. Darius Miller for 3. Rim shot, rebound, hauled in securely by Bamberg-CSKA. Teodosic tries to find Bamberg-CSKA, does so. Who got good position against Darius Miller. Remember, Darius Miller got caught up on the screen previously when Bamberg-CSKA went up for the dunk. Here he found himself pinned on in poor defensive position once again. Picks up his 3rd foul, trying to prevent Bamberg-CSKA getting the layup on the inside. So checking back into the game with 4 fouls to his name is Nicolo Melli. Darius Miller also has three fouls. Struggles of Bamberg-CSKA from the free-throw line continue. See Moscow shooting a relatively low 67% from the stripe. 0 for 2 on that trip to the far line for Bamberg-CSKA. 1 for 4 for the game for the 3-point marksman. So 4 minutes to go in the 4th and final period. Strelnick's inside to Melli. He's going to be, well, the foul will be called against Nikita Kabanov. I said it was Nikita Kabanov. It looks as though it's been assessed against Aaron Jackson. He's engaged in quizzical conversation with the referee. Timeout on the floor. So let's take a look at the 7 days magic moment in this game, and it's the three-pointer from Milos Teodosic, which took him beyond 2,500 points for his EuroLeague career. Just the 6th man in EuroLeague history to break that significant milestone, following on from Felipe Reyes, who did so in round 9. Milos Teodosic hot on his heels, reaching the 2,500 point barrier with that three-pointer. 7 days magic moment. You can see how Brose Bamberg outscored CSKA Moscow in the 3rd quarter. That was despite CSKA Moscow coming out hard to begin the 2nd half. Brose Bamberg battled and scratched, then the three-pointers began to fall, as they have been doing for this man all season long. And in this game, once again, 50% from downtown for the game. Milos Teodosic with 19 points in the game. Lead his team in scoring. So the game tied up from the free throw line. Nicolo Melli, perfect from the stripe so far in this game. 6 for 6 in the game. He moves to 25 points to lead all scorers. And Brose Bamberg take the lead for the first time since the early stages when they led 6-0. Teodosic for 3. This is remarkable. What an extraordinary performance. And well, that Brose Bamberg fan might shake his head, because when the man is in the zone like this, he's almost impossible to defend. Milos Teodosic moves to 22 points in the game on 6 for 11 three-point shooting. That shot rattles home, and it's an opportunity for 3 the old-fashioned way for Brose Bamberg. Strelnex with the high degree of difficulty on this long-range 2. Aaron Jackson, the defensive stopper late on the rotation. And that will send Strelnex to the free throw line. And he will know, and Coach Adidas will know. Oh my goodness, I've spoken too soon. I was about to say that's automatic, because coming into this game, Yanis Strelnex had made 20 consecutive free throws, 13 of 13 across the season. Prior to that errant miss, Strelnex was 2 for 2 from the line, but he's missed it there. The streak comes to an end at 22, and the game remains deadlocked at 77. So we're in money time. 3 minutes to go here at Brose Arena. The home team, Brose Bamberg, in another competitive encounter. Nicolo Melli working against Cabana. Fade away on the baseline. Short on the shot. James Augustine with the board. So execution going to be absolutely critical now. And to their immense credit, Corey Higgins goes for the pull-up J, rebound hauled in by Zizis. To their immense credit, Brose Bamberg have done a better job with the basketball. 14 turnovers they had committed in the first half as they go upstairs to Daniel Tice. Veroncevic went up in the elevator with him, broke up the alley-oop attempt. Coach Adidas can't believe that's a foul, nor can Andre Veroncevic, but that's the result. And remember, both teams in the penalty. See, those red lozenges are full beneath the team names on the graphic, and that is why every subsequent foul committed from here on in will send the opposition to the free throw line. Timeout on the floor. We are tied at 77 points apiece. Brose Bamberg, who had committed 14 turnovers at halftime, have committed just 2 more prior to this point. Look at that for a turnaround. Absolutely sensational in terms of the response they have given their coach, Andre Trinchieri. And that a crucial component as to how they have got themselves back into this game. We're all square at 77. So the foul situation, Corey Higgins on 4 for CSKA Moscow. Nico Zizis on 4 for Brose Bamberg. To the free throw line goes Daniel Thijs. Rattles home the first to give Brose Bamberg the lead yet again. Daniel Thijs remains perfect from the free throw line. He moved to 17 points in the game. Brose Bamberg leading by 2. 2 minutes 17 to play. Teodosic taking the initiative, drives against Thijs. And so Thijs called for the foul. That's his 4th. Call for the officials to make to the free throw line will go Milos Teodosic. First trip to the line in this game. Makes the first to move to 23 points. Looking to tie things up here. Perfect trip to the charity stripe for Milos Teodosic. CSKA Moscow tie things up, 79 points apiece. Hanging in the air, big rebound from Veron-Savic. So under 2 minutes to go now. Corey Higgins being guarded by Strelneck. Teodosic guarded by Darius Miller, works him. Darius Miller called for the foul. I think that's 4 on Darius Miller. Yes, indeed it is, and it will send Teodosic to the free throw line. Teodosic, 4th in the league in scoring with his 17 points a game coming in. Remember, Nando De Colo is absent, recovering from that thigh injury, so he's the team's leading scorer, league's leader in assists. He's handling this responsibility with his usual phlegmatic approach, ice-cool temperament. Makes the first to give CSKA Moscow the lead, drained the second to remain perfect from the free throw line, and that is why the brow of Andrei Trinchieri is being furrowed. Minute and a half to go in the 4th and final period. CSKA Moscow leading by 1. Nico Zizis nails the 2-pointer on the pull-up J. He's playing on 4 fouls, and he moves to 8 points in the game. His first 2-point field goal to go with his 2 threes from beyond the arc. Teodosic, guarded by Miller once again, drops it, and look, drops it in the eye of Darius Miller, the long-arm defender, the team's leading scorer for Brose Bamberg, absolutely powerless and at the mercy of Milos Teodosic. Inside to Thijs, who crams it right on top of Veron-Savic. No foul on the play, but how much momentum will that give the home team? Veron-Savic just got punched on. And Brose Bamberg back to within 1. That will give the home team something to cheer about. Milos Teodosic dropped the 3-pointer right into the face of Darius Miller. 7 for 12 from downtown. I make that for Teodosic. But then down at the other end came Daniel Thijs, who went up hard and finished strong. Back to the free throw line goes Teodosic. He remains perfect from the foul line. 5 of 5 in the game now. And he duly makes both. Some fans can barely bear to look. Inside the final minute, it's a 3-point game. Strelneck being guarded by Kabanov. Looking for position is Melli. He's got it against the smaller Jackson. Across comes Augustine. He helps out on the defense. with the rejection. So that will send Nicolo Melli to the free throw line. He's perfect to this point in the game. 6 for 6. Augustine called for his third foul. 25 points make that 26 now for Nicolo Melli. Leading scorer for his team. He's been surpassed as the leading scorer in the game by the unconscious shooting of Milos Teodosic, but he misses the second. How costly will that prove to be? It's now a 2-point game. Corey Higgins orchestrating things for CSKA Moscow. We've got an 18-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Kozer guarding Teodosic, who pulls up from downtown, short on the shot. Augustine hustling after it, only into the hands of Kozer. Now, is that going to be unsportsmanlike? Is that going to be unsportsmanlike? That was committed far away from the basket, but how much of an effort did the veteran magician Milos Teodosic make on the basketball there? There it is, no movement of the feet, just an arm around the waist. That's part of basketball vernacular, of course, but this season, such plays, given the interpretation of the calls, such plays have been called for unsportsmanlike fouls. Saw Victor Kriapa go to the line earlier. When he was draped up similarly, we're making a cut away from the basket. Fabian Kozer, 83% free throw shooter this season, makes both. We are deadlocked at 86. Teodosic has the ball in his hands. He offloads to Veroncevic. Back to Teodosic. What's the call here? Coach Atudis remonstrating demonstrably with the officials. What a standoff here at Brose Arena between the visiting coach and the game officials. Now, what is going to happen here in terms of the shot clock being set? Strelnek's called for the foul. Excuse me, the game clock being set. It's Strelnek's called for the foul. Veroncevic, who continues, I was going to say, continues to struggle from the line, but he got the friendliest of shooters' rolls. Andrei Veroncevic, make that 2 for 5 from the free throw line now. And made both when it really counted to give his team a 2-point lead. So what will the coach draw up here on both sides of the ball? Absolutely nail-biting stuff. Nico Zizis can take no further part, having picked up his 5th and disqualifying foul. There was the offload inside, and that was the highlight reel crunch right into the face of Andrei Veroncevic by Daniel Tice. You mentioned his outstanding court vision, 7 assists in the game for Zizis before he fouled out, and that was the 7th three-pointer of the night from Teodosic. He was 7 of 12 from that point. He missed a subsequent foul shot, a subsequent three-pointer. But emotions running high on the sidelines with coach Dimitris Atudis. But now all of his experience we put to the fore to draw up this end game situation. His team are leading by 2. Coach Andre Trinchieri will have drawn up a final play for his charges. Again, it's worth re-emphasizing, 4 of Brose Bamberg's 7 losses have been by a single shot, and that is the territory we are in right now. Will they gamble and go for 3? Will they try and force overtime inside the final seconds? The foul committed by Milos Teodosic, committed quickly. Now, the trend of consecutive free throws that was made by Yanis Strelneks was broken at 22 when he missed his previous foul shot attempt. Gets back on track now to make it a 1-point game. If he makes this and CSKA Moscow secure possession, well, they will have 8 seconds in which to launch a shot. There's confirmation of that miss. The first in 22 attempts for Stroneks earlier in this game. We have a tied basketball game. 88 points apiece, 8 seconds on the clock. And Milos Teodosic will look to inbound from the end line. What will Brose Bamberg do? Will they foul or take a gamble here? Teodosic has it in his hands, guarded by Darius Miller, drives to the lane, gets up, rejected by Daniel Theis. We are going to overtime. Daniel Theis, number 9 in the league this season, with 1 block per game, timed his leap to perfection and extended a lengthy appendage to swat that shot attempt away. Now, have I spoken too soon? I said we're going to overtime. We have, in fact, 0.4 seconds remaining. How will Coach Adidas play this final 0.4 seconds? Execution going to be absolutely critical. This is why the coaches earn such big money in the EuroLeague. They've got to draw up plays for situations such as this. It's going to be a catch and shoot situation. No time to set. Going to have to catch the ball with the feet set and get that ball close to the basket. Brose Bamberg cannot afford to foul. What will they do? Put it above the rim for an alley-oop? Will they go long and just try a three-pointer? Milos Teodosic, that man, such court vision, you wouldn't put any type of inbound pass beyond him. Will a teammate be able to make the reception? Will they get a shot away? Ball inbounds, there's the shot, and it's good! Now, did it beat the shot clock buzzer? Yes, it did! CSKA Moscow escape with a dramatic road victory, 88-90 over Brose Bamberg. And once again, it is heartbreak for the Brose Bamberg team and the fans, because for the 5th time in 8 losses this season, it has been by a single shot. And the single shot, the dagger, was applied by Vitaly Fridzone, who made big plays all game long, none bigger than this game winner from the baseline. Managed to get loose. And crucially, that red light does not illuminate around the backboard. Until then, no doubt that the shot beat the buzzer. Absolute heartbreak for the Brose Bamberg fans. Vitaly Fridzone, the hero. CSKA Moscow extend their record to 9-1. They will remain atop the EuroLeague table. Brose Bamberg will remain rooted to the foot of the table. They lose another heartbreaker. Final score from Brose Arena: Brose Bamberg 88, CSKA Moscow 90.
Milos, congrats for that win. What was the key for you at the end?
In the end, we just was more luckier, and we had in third quarter we have 19 points. We was 19 points up, and in 3 minutes we lost that advantage, and we cannot play the way we played third quarter because this can cost us a win tonight.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Turkish Airlines, 7 days. Bedfiktor, Tadim, Denizbank, and Siesta, official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.